Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. In this video, we're going to be talking about Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. We all remember the moment he was drafted, how shocked we were. 6th overall in 2019, and so he's had a lot of hype to live up to. So we're going to talk about his rookie year, what lays ahead for him with that Giants team moving forward with new coach Joe Judge. Will he improve? Will he be able to prove the doubters wrong, or will he ultimately become a bust, or somewhere in between? We're going to talk about that and more in this video, so who wants to get started?
To start off, we should mention that if you look at a picture of Daniel Jones from 2019 and look at a picture from 2020, you can tell there's a big difference there. He's bulked up in his legs. His shoulders are a lot broader. He seems to have been working out a lot. This offseason seems to be more prepared for the NFL upcoming season, which is exciting to see, but obviously looks aren't everything. Big Ben is the best. I know, but I'm saying there's a big difference if you put it side by side. I'll try and do something on my computer so you guys can see it.
Alright, well, as we usually do, I'm going to start by reading off Daniel Jones' stats from last year. That's his only NFL stats because last year was indeed his rookie year. With the Giants last year, he had 284 completions off of 559 attempts. He got 3,027 yards with 24 touchdowns, and this is all in 13 games. He started 12 games. So he got 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in those 12 games, started 13 games played. So you'd like to see those interceptions go down. But there's one major stat that even before this video, when we decided we were going to do it on Daniel Jones, the first reaction from Brian was, what was your reaction?
Well, I just said, I was going to take a nice trick. Oh, dropped it, sorry.
That's right. That's right.
Careful there, Daniel.
And I got to give a shout out to this website because it's actually bringing some interesting stats that I did not know. So it's touchdownwire.usatoday.com. So last year, Daniel Jones had 11 fumbles. Off of 10 of those fumbles, the opposing team scored points. And he actually had 3 scooping scores against the Patriots, the Cowboys, and the Jets. The Jets, Lions, and I saw the Patriots. Why can't I read? Cowboys.
There you go.
Lions. That was not well he said. But so a lot of fumbles from Daniel Jones last year, and he has time to improve. And his line was not good. Now they got Andrew Thomas. Ryan got that pick right. Andrew Thomas was not the number one guy in most people's eyes, but he was in Ryan's eyes, and
he was in Gentleman's eyes.
That's right. So they ended up going with it. So some improvements that you definitely want to see from Daniel Jones. We have a small sample size so far. He's trademarked the name Danny Dimes. We'll see if it sticks. We'll see if he actually has a good NFL career. Now the question is, in year 2, was it worth the pick 6?
And the answer to that question is we don't know. And I feel like when we look at these rookies, we just try and make a verdict after 1 year. And remember, these guys aren't drafted just to play for 1 year. These guys are drafted to be developed and get better and improve. If I was the Giants, you had me go back to the podium at pick 6, would I have picked Daniel Jones? No. But is he going to be a bust? No. It's going to be somewhere in between. These guys aren't just drafted for 1 year. Daniel Jones has time to prove himself. He's, under a new system with a new coach, Joe Judge. He's kind of bringing a new mentality to the Giants, more old school physical mentality. That's kind of evident if you see some of the things from, their training camp where Joe Judge is literally doing the drills like he's a player, so that's cool. So kind of a new system for Jones in year 2. And look at, year 1, the offensive line was not good at all, so maybe, I'm not saying that completely justifies all the fumbling, but that's a factor. Saquon Barkley, his best offensive weapon, injured for some points, and then he finally came back, towards the end of the year. So, so with Daniel Jones, I think that we gotta, just give him time. I don't think that he has proven to deserve that 6th overall pick. I don't think he's there yet, but I don't think he has proven he's a bust. I think we've just gotta take some time, watch this Giants team, watch them under Joe Judge, and then maybe as we get further down the road in his career, then make the verdict.
Yeah, and everyone was coming after Daniel Jones after he got picked 6th overall.
Yeah, he didn't get
in the draft. I mean, that's clearly not his fault.
I'm sure he thought he deserved to go that high.
I'm sure he definitely did.
I hope he
did.
I hope he thought he should have gone at number 1.
I think he feels like he can live up to that reputation that he has been given by getting picked 6 overall. I think he actually can. I, for one, thought he was better than Drew Lock.
I did not.
And coming out of the draft, now that's kind of started to shift a bit, but I still do like what I see from Daniel Jones. It was only his rookie year, like Ryan said, that was a valid point. You can't just judge someone's entire career based on their first year. Rookies all the time don't do very good in their first years, especially quarterbacks, and they start to pick it up. So this is the year where we'll start to learn more, and then I could think it's fair to give a judgment on him. I don't like giving judgment to rookies after their first year. For example, Quinn Williams with the Jets, he didn't play very well, but there's still plenty of time. But going back to Daniel Jones, in the preseason even, he looked a lot better than people expected, than I expected. Even in those first weeks, he looked really good as well. It started to decline as injuries came across his team and the offensive line got worse and worse. But overall, I think Daniel Jones was a great leader for his team in his rookie year, and can only go up from here.
Yeah, and real quick, just to add, something I think he could improve on is the deep ball accuracy. I found my 2019 draft notes, and I was looking through that, and I looked at the quarterbacks, looked at Kyler Murray, Drew Lock, see who I was right about, who I was wrong about, who I was about. And with Daniel Jones, one of the things I saw was, throwing into double coverage, the deep ball, that stuff needs to improve.
Shot by 12 interceptions in 12 games started.
Yeah, so that's another thing that we should watch for him, I don't know. Is that a New York thing? Who knows? The New York ghost seers or something like that. Is that like?
That's what the Washington's going to name.
Yeah, the Washington. Yeah.
The ghost seers. The Washington ghost seers.
The Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters.
They're close enough.
I mean, yeah, kind of in that.
It's in the realm
area. That kind of mid-Atlantic part. But yeah. So another thing, just one thing I wanted to know about. Hey, Haskins is starting. So we'll see what that's doing.
Absolutely, it is. And just my opinion on Daniel Jones. I, for one, as we've been saying, it was a small sample size that we saw last year. It's really hard to predict what he's going to do in the future. But from what I saw from the games that I watched, there was potential there. Now, you look at the things that I said, the interceptions, the fumbles, those things tell you the opposite way. But he didn't have much of a receiving core last year. I love Darius Slayton. I think he's going to have a good year. Evan Ingram, who was battling some injuries, he wasn't in very much. Ryan mentioned it. Saquon was out. He's not a receiver, but he's a huge weapon for that team. Golden Tate on that team now, but even he had some time out, I think, and he hadn't done too much. Maybe I'm missing another wide receiver as well, but he didn't have too many people to throw to. And he still did pretty well. Like I said, 3,027 yards last year. That's not bad for 12 games. And your rookie year as well, learning under Eli Manning. So that was they were basically miming each other many times. Just had to mention that in this video. He reminds me a bit of Eli Manning as well. He's not the most mobile quarterback. No one mentioned it, but I think this is important to mention. Yeah. He's not the most mobile quarterback. He's not the Kyler Murray that went number 1 overall to the Cardinals. He's not some of the guys who are going to move as much. He's a pocket passing quarterback. That's why he reminds me of Eli Manning. I think that could be why they drafted him there, because they wanted someone like Eli Manning to teach someone, a player that is like Eli Manning, to grow into this NFL level and have the success that Manning was able to have beating the Patriots in Super Bowls.
Yeah, definitely agreed. Did you read the fumble stat off you had about Daniel Jones?
I did. I read it for a long time. You must have not been listening.
Yes, I know, but I know you did. But can you read it one more time, because I want to point that out. And that leads me kind of into what I'm saying.
Okay. He had 11 fumbles last year. 10 of those 11 fumbles the other team scored on their next drive, and 3 of those went for scoops and scores. So 11 fumbles recovered. I'm sure there were more on the ground as well.
Yep.
Yes, and like Jordan mentioned earlier, that is a huge problem. You look at his game, that's the glaring weakness. But it's kind of overall, it's not just the fumbles, but what he does when he's looking to run, it just doesn't add up the way it's supposed to. When he's looking to pass, he's great. I mean, his vision downfield is pretty good, especially for a rookie. He's, for the most part, finding the right spots, avoiding the interceptions that were obvious that he just didn't seem to see. Those were kind of limited, and I was impressed to see that from him, something I didn't really see much from him into. So slowly over the season, although his team wasn't doing better, I saw improvement from Daniel Jones, especially as I watched games back after the season. You pay attention to Daniel Jones, he got better and better, and over the offseason, I'm sure it's even better now. So I'm excited to see what he does for the Giants, even though they might be an irrelevant team this year.
I just wanted to mention something because I just found it right now. I found Daniel Jones rushing for last year. It's actually more yards than I thought. He rushed 45 times. 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it's actually pretty good. I actually didn't know he did that last year. It didn't seem like he ran that much, but he's not the fastest guy in the world. But if there's a lane there, he'll take it, and also there's not too many people to pass to on that team.
Just to clarify, I wasn't talking about when he actually was running. I'm saying when he was still in the backfield, but outside of the pocket.
I know, but I just had to mention that.
It got to a point where he was looking to run too much, and that kind of get him into difficult places. Although he had those 2 touchdowns, I think, as you mentioned.
I just had to mention that because I do still stand with my statement that I said before. He's not that much of a mobile quarterback, but he can do it when he has to, just like Eli did.
Yes, they're very similar quarterbacks in many regards. I mean, you could say something about Daniel Jones, you could say, "Oh, Eli Manning did that too."
You're not the listener.
I know, and I'm saying exactly what you're saying.
I know, but I said that, and I said too much about it because I couldn't figure out what I was trying to say about it.
I know. And they're so similar, as Jordan said earlier on, and I feel like you look at that and you wonder why. It's probably because Eli was there, and they really look the same. I mean, this guy, I don't want to go too far ahead and say, like, he's going to win them a Super Bowl, but I mean, if he does what Eli did in his career, then he's going to win multiple Super Bowls. I seriously think that their career trajectory is about the same to me. I don't think that Daniel Jones is going to be a bust. He might not have been overall or deserved the 6th overall pick being picked there, but a first-round quarterback that can win you or get you to the playoffs and hopefully win you a Super Bowl, I think that's worth it if you can get him the praise, like at least something like Eli Manning was, where maybe he's not elite, but he was good enough to get the team a bunch of wins.
Yeah, and look, what I think teams need to realize is that you can't just keep throwing young quarterbacks in there and drafting guys when you don't give them good situations, you don't give them weapons, you don't give them proper time to develop if they're not ready. I think
Dwayne Haskins.
Exactly. Dwayne Haskins was in a horrible situation, and that's a different video. And what else? But that's a different video. But staying in the NFC East with the Giants, you look at Daniel Jones. I think they're gonna stick it through with Daniel Jones. I don't think it's gonna happen very fast, but I think he will get better. And will he ever justify being selected 6th overall? I don't think so. But will he be known as this horrible bust? I don't think so either. I think it will be somewhere in between. I think that's kind of the vibe of the table. What? What did you say?
You said he's Scotty McCurry. He's a country singer.
Okay, I got it. It took me a second. Took me a second. But I got it. And so with Daniel Jones, it's definitely a guy that I think people need to watch develop, because I really think it's going to be an interesting player to watch. It's not going to happen overnight, but he will get better, and that team will get better because they really haven't been that good for a few years now. So I'm excited for the Joe Judge era and Daniel Jones era, or not, the era's already started. Daniel Jones year 2, first year with Joe Judge. Just one thing real quick, and then my time's up. People just need to calm down a little. Like, there's people
nervous, man.
Seriously, there's people that are begging for forgiveness for saying Daniel Jones shouldn't have been 6th overall. Like, the dude won 3 games last year, 4. And I'm not saying you should have went undrafted, but it's way too early to apologize or say, oh no, he should have gone that high, because he has not proven that yet. Just think about it. Think about the big picture. These guys aren't just drafted for 1 year. These guys are supposed to be developed. They're supposed to be, trained and get integrated into their new system. These things take time, and I know, the world we live in right now. All the media that's out there, reactionary. Instagram, we see things right away. Boom, boom, boom. Things just kind of happen, immediately. But I remember with Daniel Jones, just be patient, take time, and we'll see where it goes.
Yep. Yeah, I think that he has a lot of potential to do things in his career. I like what he has done so far, and as I've been mentioning all video, and really everyone has, if they can get some more pieces around Daniel Jones, I think that there could be some really good things going on in New York sometime soon, as long as Saquon can stay there as well. I'm optimistic for this New York team. The other New York team, maybe not as much yet, but for the Giants, I am optimistic. Not the Jets. What is going on to my right?
Well, we were just looking at something that Chris Sims said about Daniel Jones, something similar to what Ryan was saying about apologizing about Daniel Jones. Chris Sims admitted that he was wrong about Daniel Jones coming out of the
I mean,
draft.
how
and
harsh
saying
was
they
he?
should-
Did he have like a 6th round grade on him or something? Like,
No, I mean, he just didn't like him. But, I mean, I felt that same way. So I
We
am
also went to York, not a big football school. It's hard to judge.
I always do that.
Because there's a
Don't give
school-
away area.
It's has both of those.
Yeah.
And I always do that. It's not the first time I've done that.
Dude, there you go. But overall, I feel like we're optimistic about Daniel Jones' table. Just to give an overview, we like what's there in the
Switch that.
future, but we're being
Switch that.
cautious about it. There was a reason why we said some of the things we have about Daniel Jones in the past. He needs more around him to be successful, but ultimately, an Eli Manning-like career seems somewhat likely for him. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video if you liked what we said about Daniel Jones. Frankly, like it anyways. He didn't like it.
Tell your friends about
like
this,
the video.
please.
Yeah, tell
We're
your
in a
friends.
kind of a low point right now. Football season is when this video is out. It started, right?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
started.
Texans are 1-0, right?
Yeah. Maybe we can come back
That
and
might
leave
not
that
age
well.
well.
That
We're
will,
very much pre-recorded.
yeah.
So I don't remember what I was
Watson just
saying.
went off.
Oh yeah,
He was
tell your
awesome.
friends about us because we're in a bit of a dry spell. So if you like the content that we're doing here, please tell people about us. We can spread the word about this great group of 3 guys at the touchdown table.
Yes. Well said, Jordan. If not, watch the other channel. You know?
Go for the other bike.
Yeah, there it is. Alright. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said, like this video. Comment your opinions about Daniel Jones below. Subscribe, as Jordan said, hit the notification bell. Tell people about us if you like what you saw.
I didn't say it.
Otherwise, forget this ever happened. With that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.